She was simply heading home after a typical day when he chose to intervene. He had no clue who she was about to contact. You'll want to witness how this unfolds. Subscribe now. We're just a few steps from reaching 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly counts. It was a calm Sunday afternoon in Wilmington, California, when 9-year-old Zara Finch strolled home alone from the local community center. Her sketchbook was tucked under one arm, a red apple clutched in her other hand. The sun hung low, casting long golden shadows across the pavement. Zara wasn't laughing, shouting, or causing a stir. She was just a child walking home after her art class. 2 blocks from her house, a black and white police cruiser pulled up slowly beside her. The driver, Officer Harrow, leaned out his window, sunglasses slipping slightly down his nose. "You lost, sweetheart?" he asked, his tone icy and patronizing. Zara paused and replied politely, "No, sir, I live right there," pointing down the street. "ID?" he demanded. "I'm 9, she said, puzzled. "I don't have ID." Harrow swung open his door and stepped out, his boots hitting the ground heavily. "Where's your parent?" he pressed. "At home," Zara answered nervously. "I just came from art class." "Don't get smart," he barked, suddenly seizing her wrist. Zara froze. "I didn't do anything," she whispered, trying to pull free. "Please let go." Her sketchbook fell to the sidewalk, the apple rolling into the gutter. Harrow twisted her small wrist behind her back. "You've got a smart mouth for a little brat," he muttered. Then came a sharp crack, the unmistakable sound of bones snapping. Zara screamed in agony and collapsed, sobbing, her arm bent unnaturally. Harrow loomed over her, breathing heavily. "That's what you get for not listening," he growled. He reached for his cuffs as if she were a criminal, unaware that Zara had already pressed an emergency shortcut on her phone, just as her father had taught her. One press and hold connected her instantly to her aunt, Tara Falcon, a former military officer, regional boxing champion, and the only person Victor Falcon trusted to protect his daughter. Tara answered immediately, hearing everything: the officer's voice, Zara's cries, the sickening snap. She didn't speak. She grabbed her keys, pulled on a hoodie, and rushed out the door. "You picked the wrong little girl," she whispered to herself. At Wilmington General Hospital, the emergency room was its usual chaos, but when EMTs brought in a young black girl with a visibly broken arm and no explanation, everything paused. "Who brought her in?" a nurse asked. "Police," an EMT replied. "Which precinct?" "Didn't say. Just dropped her at the curb and left." The staff moved fast. X-rays, pain medication, stabilization. But Zara kept crying, whispering, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." One nurse noticed Zara clutching her phone tightly in her uninjured hand, the screen showing an ongoing call to Tara Falcon, 30 minutes and counting. 30 miles away, Tara sped down the freeway, laser-focused, replaying every sound from the call in her mind. Zara's scream, the crack, her pleading. She had trained Zara to use the emergency shortcut, never imagining it would be needed so soon. Her phone rang again. "Victor Falcon." "I'm on my way," she said as she answered. "How bad is it?" he asked, his voice like distant thunder. "He broke her arm," Tara replied. Silence, then a low, barely restrained growl. "Where is he?" "Gone. Dumped her and ran." "Don't let him vanish," Victor said. "You find him, you hold him. I'll come through the walls myself if I have to." "I got her," Tara said. "Stay calm." Victor hung up without another word. When Tara reached the hospital, she bypassed the front desk. "I'm her emergency contact," she said sharply. "Zara Finch, 9 years old, broken arm. Room number." The nurse hesitated, then pointed. "Room 6. Tara rushed to the door, and what she saw tightened her chest. Zara lay small and trembling in the hospital bed, her arm in a temporary brace, tears streaking her face. When their eyes met, Zara cried harder. Tara dropped to her knees beside the bed, holding her gently. "I'm here, baby girl. I got you," she whispered. Zara clung to her, still whispering. "He just grabbed me. I told him my name. I told him who my dad was." Tara froze. "You told him?" "I told him I was Victor Falcon's daughter," Zara sobbed. He laughed. Tara's blood ran cold. This wasn't a mistake or fear-driven error. It was targeted, deliberate. She pulled out her phone and played the emergency call recording aloud. The room filled with Zara's voice, the officer's angry tone, her screams, the snap. The nurses froze. One whispered, "My God." Another asked, "Do you know who the officer was?" "I'm about to," Tara said. Outside, she demanded the supervisor and accessed the EMT intake log. No name or badge number, but a dispatch record tied to Patrol Unit 73D. She snapped a photo of it and called a contact, Sergeant Elena Vargas from LAPD Internal Affairs. "This is Tara. I need a favor. A cop in Wilmington broke a little girl's arm and ran. I have evidence." "You have reach," Vargas said. "Send me what you've got. I'll get you a name." 10 minutes later, Tara had it. Officer Harrow, badge number, patrol car, prior complaints, a full report. She opened the image of Zara's arm, the bruises, the fear in her eyes. "This man's about to learn why they call me the other Falcon," Tara whispered. By the time Zara was sedated and resting, Tara stood outside her hospital room, arms crossed. Her phone buzzed. Vargas again. "We got him. Harrow, badge 5372, Wilmington Division. Not even on duty. Took the car without authorization." "Where is he now?" Tara asked. "He eats every Sunday at Benny's Grill. Same time, same booth, like clockwork. Don't do anything reckless," Vargas warned. But Tara was already walking. "I'm not going to touch him," she said. "Not yet." At Benny's Grill, Harrow sat comfortably in his usual booth, laughing at his phone, barking at the waitress. Tara parked across the street, watching. 15 minutes later, she walked inside. The bell above the door chimed. All eyes turned. She approached his table calmly. "Can I help you?" he grumbled. Tara didn't speak. She pulled out her phone and tapped play. Zara's voice filled the diner. "Please stop. That hurts." "I didn't do anything." Then the crack. The diner went silent. Harrow's smirk vanished. "Where did you get that?" he demanded. "You know who that girl is?" Tara asked coldly. "Doesn't matter." She resisted. "She's Victor Falcon's daughter," Tara said. His face paled. "And I'm Tara Falcon." He opened his mouth, but no sound came. "You threatening me?" he stammered. "If I was threatening you, you'd be face down already," she replied. She slid a napkin toward him with the words, "Room 6, Wilmington General, 9 years old, broken arm, audio, witnesses, internal affairs. By the time my brother gets here, you'll be lucky to keep your badge." "You people think you can," Harrow began. Tara slammed both hands on the table. The diner shook. "What you did wasn't fear, it was cowardice. You broke the wrong little girl. And now I'm going to break your career." She turned to leave. "Next time I see you in uniform, I hope it's during your perp walk." She walked out. Her phone buzzed. Vargas again. Waitress from the diner just called it in. Said a woman confronted Harrow, gave him a name, played a recording. Tara smiled. "Let's just say I dropped something on his table." "You're not done, are you?" Vargas asked. Tara looked at the horizon. "I haven't even started." By sunrise, Wilmington was no longer quiet. The emergency call from Zara Finch's phone had been anonymously uploaded to a whistleblower platform, spreading like wildfire. Within 12 hours, it was shared over 400,000 times. Raw and painful, it carried a child's panicked voice begging for mercy, an officer's harsh shouts, and the unmistakable crack of her arm breaking. People didn't just listen. They reacted, reposted, marched. The clip struck a nerve long raw. Major news outlets aired the audio on loop, some with warnings, others without. Commentators debated legality, protocol, morality, but none could dispute the sound of real pain. When Zara Finch, daughter of actor and martial arts icon Victor Falcon, was identified as the victim, the nation took notice. This wasn't just another headline. It was personal. By 9 a.m., Officer Harrow had deleted his social media, turned off his phone, and called in sick. Too late. 2 news vans were parked outside his home, a drone filming his backyard. Inside the Wilmington Police Department, the atmosphere was tense. Some officers exchanged knowing glances, others distanced themselves, avoiding the inevitable fallout. No one openly defended him, not this time. Meanwhile, at Wilmington General Hospital, Tara Falcon sat quietly beside Zara's bed. The girl was stable but silent, sedated, her small hand clutching Tara's sleeve like an anchor. Her cast was now signed by half the ER nurses with words of encouragement. "You're brave. You matter. Justice is coming." Victor Falcon hadn't arrived yet, still flying back from an overseas filming event. Tara kept the room calm, giving him time to land before facing what had been done to his daughter. If Victor saw Zara's broken arm without knowing the facts, the city might not withstand his wrath. By 11:13 a.m., Tara walked into the Wilmington Police Department lobby, no longer in a hoodie, but in a charcoal blazer, dark jeans, and boots. Her face was calm, her eyes focused. She didn't wait for permission, laying a folder on the front desk. "I need to speak to your commanding officer," she said. Inside the folder, screenshots of the dispatch report, a transcript of the emergency call, EMT drop-off records, and a signed letter from Sergeant Elena Vargas confirming an internal affairs investigation into Officer Harrow. 10 minutes later, Tara faced Captain Hayes, a weathered man with silver stubble, trying to read her every move. "Miss Falcon," he began. "Internal Affairs is conducting a full inquiry. Officer Harrow is on administrative leave pending review." Tara raised an eyebrow. "Administrative leave?" she repeated. He shattered a 9-year-old's arm and left her at the curb. He didn't file a report. He didn't call it in. He ran. Hayes cleared his throat. "We're following procedure." "You followed procedure," Tara interrupted, "when you buried his last complaint. And the one before that." She tossed another folder onto his desk. 3 prior civilian complaints against Harrow, all dismissed, no action taken. "I'm not here because my last name is Falcon," she said. "I'm here because a man in uniform thinks he can brutalize black children without consequence." Hayes leaned forward, defensive. "This department is under immense pressure right now. You have until tomorrow morning," Tara said sharply, "to fire him publicly, or the Falcon family goes live with everything." He blinked. "Are you threatening the department?" "I'm giving you a chance," she replied, "to survive what's coming." By 2 p.m., the front of Wilmington PD was flooded with protesters holding signs. "Justice for Zara. Protect kids, not egos. We see you, Carl." College students, parents, activists, and locals stood together, their chants echoing off the concrete. Tara stood at the top of the courthouse steps, not chanting, not yelling, just watching. Her phone buzzed. Vargas again. "I just left HQ," she said. "They've frozen Harrow's pay, flagged his badge. He's under full review for excessive force." "Not enough," Tara said quietly. "What are you going to do?" Vargas asked. "I'm going to do what they won't," she said. That evening, a video posted to Tara Falcon's verified social media wasn't flashy, just her standing in front of the hospital, one hand resting gently on Zara's cast. "Some people think they can hide behind a badge forever," Tara said to the camera. But we're not afraid of uniforms. We're afraid of silence. She looked into the lens. Carl Harrow heard a child and walked away. Now I'm walking toward him, and when I find him, he'll learn you don't lay hands on a Falcon. By sunrise Tuesday, #JusticeForZara trended globally. Protests spread beyond the precinct to City Hall. National talk shows played the emergency call in full. Celebrities spoke out. Civil rights attorneys circled the case. Victor Falcon had landed hours earlier, but no one had seen him. Not the press, not the police. Only Tara knew where he was, sitting quietly in the back seat of her car, parked near Carl Harrow's house. From their vantage point, they saw his home. Yellow paint peeling, curtains drawn, a mailbox stuffed with uncollected letters. It was 6:44 a.m., still nothing, Tara said. Then the garage door creaked open. Carl Harrow stepped out, glancing nervously around, dressed in plain clothes, a duffel bag over his shoulder, his badge still clipped to his belt. A black Dodge Charger waited across the street. He's skipping town, Tara said flatly. Victor didn't speak. Tara stepped out silently. Harrow didn't see her until he shut the trunk. When he turned, she stood there, calm, centered, unflinching. I wouldn't leave just yet, she said. He instinctively reached for his holster. Go ahead, she said. That'll be the last move you ever make. He froze. What do you want? He spat. I want you to feel something close to what you made her feel, Tara said. She resisted. He began, but the words didn't finish. Tara's fist landed square on his jaw, trained, controlled. He stumbled backward. She advanced, grabbed his collar, slammed him into his car. You grabbed a little girl. Slam. You broke her arm. Slam. You left her like trash. Slam. He tried to fight back, but she pivoted, twisting his arm behind his back. He cried out. Hurts, doesn't it? She said. She made it up, he gasped. A knee to the gut cut him off. He dropped to the pavement, wheezing. Tara crouched beside him. I should put this on camera, she said. Let the world see you beg. She reached into her jacket, pulling out a sealed envelope. Inside, a civil lawsuit for assault on a minor, a subpoena for his court appearance, a restraining order signed by Victor Falcon, an internal affairs report. She dropped it on his chest. You're done, Carl, she said coldly. And if you come within 100 feet of her again, next time I won't stop. Sirens approached. 2 squad cars rounded the corner. Get up, she ordered. He groaned. Get up. As officers cuffed Harrow against his car's hood, neighbors stepped out, phones in hand. No one looked surprised. No one defended him. The truth was out. One officer turned to Tara. You're Tara Falcon? She nodded. My daughter's in art class with Zara, he said quietly. She still talks about that sketchbook. Tara met his eyes. She's not done drawing, she said. Not even close. The footage of Carl Harrow's arrest spread rapidly. Every major news outlet looped the clip. The bruised ex-officer in cuffs, the black Dodge Charger in the background, Tara Falcon standing tall with a sealed envelope pressed to his chest. No audio was needed. The image told the story. A reckoning had begun. Inside the Wilmington Police Department, tension simmered. Some officers refused to comment. Others muttered bitterly about Tara Falcon and the circus she'd created. But a few, in quiet hallways and locker rooms, nodded in agreement. They'd seen Harrow's behavior for years, but never expected anyone to act. That afternoon, Sergeant Elena Vargas called Tara with a warning. You're getting heat, she said. Internal voices are framing you as volatile, emotional. There's talk you used excessive force. Tara let out a short, humorless laugh. He broke a child's arm, and I'm excessive? I know, Vargas replied. But they're trying to flip the narrative. You embarrassed them. You made them look weak. I didn't make them weak, Tara said coldly. They were already rotten. I just turned on the light. By 2 p.m., protesters outside the station had doubled. Celebrities tweeted support. Civil rights groups issued statements. Wilmington PD still hadn't held a press conference. No apology, no transparency, just silence. But at 3:47 p.m., a sleek black SUV pulled up to the precinct. Doors opened, cameras surged. Victor Falcon stepped out last, in a dark suit, no tie, his face unreadable, eyes like a hawk locking onto a target. He didn't wave or smile, climbing the steps with Tara and a legal advisor behind him. Protesters erupted. Justice for Zara. Let him speak. Victor took the microphone, and the crowd fell silent. A man put his hands on my 9-year-old daughter. He began, voice steady but sharp. He twisted her arm, threw her to the ground, broke her like she didn't matter. Not a sound, only the flag snapping in the wind. He didn't care who she was, and that's what hurts most, Victor said. Not because she's my daughter, but because he looked at a little girl and saw nothing worth protecting. He paused, then looked into the camera. To Officer Harrow, you picked the wrong little girl. And to the system that made him, you've got one shot to fix this before we fix it for you. He stepped back, leaving a storm behind. Inside the precinct, Interim Chief Mason Holt watched the live feed. His phone rang. The mayor. Fix this, the voice barked. Fix it now. Tara wasn't waiting for anyone. That evening, she sat at her kitchen table. Zara slept upstairs. Victor stood at the window, silent. They'd received over 12,000 messages in 48 hours. Victims, parents, whistleblowers, people waiting years for someone to listen. We need to do more, Tara said. We can't let this end with just him. Victor nodded. We go national. Within days, they launched the FIST initiative, Fighters for Institutional Safety and Truth. More than a foundation, it was a machine. Civil rights lawyers, retired detectives, investigators, whistleblowers, trauma counselors. Their mission: expose police abuse patterns, protect the silenced, empower communities. The public backed them instantly. Tara and Victor held town halls, press conferences, interviews, demanding attention without asking permission. But backlash came fast. At 6:03 a.m. Thursday, as Tara stepped out for her morning run, a gray sedan screeched to a stop. 3 men in plain clothes jumped out. One flashed a badge. Tara Falcon, you're under temporary detainment for obstruction and aggravated assault on a peace officer. Before she could respond, they cuffed her, shoved her into the car. No Miranda rights, no phone call, just silence. Neighbors filmed. The footage hit Twitter in 10 minutes. By 6:44 a.m., Victor was on the phone with Vargas. You didn't warn her, he said, voice like steel. I didn't know, Vargas said. They bypassed internal channels. It's retaliation. I want every name, Victor said. Every signature, every address. By 7 a.m., Tara sat in a holding cell. No paperwork, no attorney, just a clipboard with a statement demanding she cease involvement in police misconduct cases. She read it, tore it in half. You think I'm scared of paper? She muttered. A man behind the glass sneered. You're making noise the department doesn't want. I'm not walking away, she replied. Not now, not ever. At 8:02 a.m., the door opened. Victor walked in with 2 lawyers, a federal agent from the U.S. Department of Civil Rights, and a cameraman. He didn't speak, handing the agent a flash drive, surveillance of Tara's arrest, dash cam footage from the Harrow confrontation, proof of her medical and emergency response license, all showing her actions were legal. The agent nodded. She's leaving with us. Tara stood, wrists still red from the cuffs, and whispered, finally. Outside, a crowd had formed, reporters, protesters, a mayor's office representative. Victor took the mic. The city of Wilmington tried to silence the woman who protected my daughter, he said. They called justice a threat. Now they'll see what happens when you come after a Falcon family member twice. That evening, Tara and Victor hosted a town hall in a high school gymnasium, packed with 600 people, parents, teachers, former officers, silent victims. A mother spoke. My son was slammed into a car hood for jaywalking. A teenager showed a phone. This is my brother's face after a routine stop. A former officer took the mic. I tried to report my partner's behavior. I was demoted, pushed out. Every voice was a wound finally opened. Tara stood in the center, absorbing it, promising change. We're building a record, she said, a case. And when it's done, every name, every badge, every sealed file, it's all coming out. That night, FalconJustice.org launched. By morning, it had over 18,000 verified submissions. Wilmington's chief of police resigned by noon. 3 more officers were placed on leave. The district attorney reopened 10 closed cases linked to Harrow. Upstairs in a quiet hospital room, Zara smiled for the first time in days. Her cast was replaced with a removable brace. She scrolled through headlines on a tablet, eyes wide. Do you think other kids will be okay now? She asked. Tara knelt beside her. They will, she said softly, because you were brave enough to speak, and now the world is speaking with you. The courtroom was packed. Los Angeles County Superior Court had seen high-profile trials, but never with this weight. Not just a single crime, but a broken system on trial through one man. On one side sat Tara Falcon, expression unreadable, a slim notebook in her lap. Beside her, Victor Falcon, motionless, hands clasped, calm as a blade before a strike. Next to them, Zara Finch, in soft blue, her healing arm in a brace, eyes sharp, alert. Across from them, Officer Harrow, thinner, paler, once a predator strutting through the precinct, now small behind his 2 attorneys. He didn't meet the Falcon's eyes or lift his head. The judge entered, the jury seated, and the state of California presented its case. Your Honor, the prosecutor began. We intend to prove that Officer Harrow knowingly and violently assaulted a minor, failed to report the incident, attempted to flee the state, and conspired to suppress the truth. Gasps echoed through the gallery, every seat filled, hallways lined with spectators, many silent victims who believed this courtroom might listen. The first evidence played without introduction, the emergency call from Zara's phone. The courtroom froze. Zara's tiny voice. Please, I didn't do anything. Please stop, that hurts. Then the crack. Her arms snapping echoed like thunder. A juror covered her mouth. The judge's hand twitched. Harrow shifted for the first time. Photos followed. X-rays of Zara's fractured bones, bruises on her arm and wrists, a timeline reconstructed from surveillance, hospital records, and GPS data from Harrow's cruiser. Tara took the stand, her voice steady, unwavering. She recounted from Zara's emergency shortcut to Harrow's arrest outside his house. I didn't punch him because I lost control, she said. I did it because he thought no one would hold him accountable. Objection. Overruled. Testimonies followed. Parents, former officers, nurses, teachers, a retired lieutenant who admitted complaints against Harrow were buried to avoid scandal. Harrow wasn't a rogue cop, the prosecutor said in closing. He was a symptom of protection without accountability. Then Zara took the stand, led gently by her mother. The courtroom stilled, reporters stopped typing. She looked small in the chair, but her voice carried like a bell. He asked for ID, but I'm 9, she said. I told him my name, my dad's name. He laughed, then grabbed me and twisted my arm. I heard it break. The courtroom didn't breathe. Zara held up a drawing. Her own, A crayon sketch of a girl with a cast, standing tall before a crowd. Below it, in neat letters, "I'm stronger now." No order from the judge, no cue. Everyone in the gallery stood, a quiet, powerful show of respect. Zara looked at them, then at Tara, who nodded proudly. Harrow didn't raise his eyes once. After 8 days of testimony, the jury deliberated for just over 6 hours. At 4:11 p.m., the foreperson delivered the verdict. Aggravated assault on a minor, guilty. Abuse of authority, guilty. Attempted evasion of justice, guilty. Carl Harrow showed no emotion as he was let out in cuffs. He didn't speak, didn't beg, didn't look at the Falcons. His career was over, his badge gone, his name synonymous with failure. Outside the courthouse, hundreds gathered. As Tara, Victor, and Zara stepped down, the crowd erupted in applause. Reporters shouted, but the Falcons didn't stop, moving together with legal advisors and community leaders. "Victor," one voice called. "What happens now?" He turned slightly, expression iron. "Now," he said, "we build something that doesn't need a falcon to be heard." 3 weeks later, they weren't celebrating, they were organizing. For every Carl Harrow brought to justice, dozens hid behind sealed complaints, protected by silence and policy. Tara and Victor launched FIST nationwide, opening offices in 20 states. Submissions to their database soared past 31,000. Retired detectives, civil rights attorneys, digital forensic analysts joined. Their motto: "We don't wait for permission. We shine the light." But the system fought back. One evening, Tara received an encrypted message: "Incoming retaliation. Eyes on you." Inside, a list of cities. 5 had flagged FIST operations for investigation. 1 issued a cease and desist. 2 prepared legal challenges to block access to personnel files. "They're scared," Victor said, reading over her shoulder. "Good," Tara replied. "They should be." The next attack was digital. FalconJustice.org was hit with a cyber assault. IPs traced to international servers. Thousands of files scrambled, whistleblower names leaked, Tara's phone cloned, edited texts twisted to paint her as unstable, aggressive. A headline screamed, "Victor Falcon's niece leading dangerous vigilante group." Tara didn't flinch. At a press conference, with Zara at her side, she said, "They can crash our servers, smear my name, but they'll never erase what they fear most: a 9-year-old girl who refused to stay silent." Victor stepped up. "You want to scare us?" he said. "I've seen fear, lived it, been it. Nothing I've hit in a ring or on a screen was uglier than what you're hiding behind those badges." He paused. "Come at us. Just understand, we hit back." That night, 2 FIST offices received suspicious packages. One a bomb threat, the other laced with tracking malware. Federal agents were called in. The warnings were clear. This was war. Tara knew they had to act louder, bigger, stronger. She and Victor planned a national broadcast to reach millions. But just before, Tara received a silent video from an unknown account. Drone footage of Zara's school, a man by the fence, blurred face, hands in pockets, watching. The clip ended after 10 seconds. Tara called Victor. "They're not going after us anymore," she said. "They're going after her." Within 48 hours, Zara was moved to a protected location outside Los Angeles, secured by former Navy SEALs. Every visitor passing facial recognition. Victor became a fortress, no longer just a father, but Zara's shield. That night, Tara sat on Zara's bed. The girl looked up. "Are they going to hurt us?" Tara brushed a curl from her face. "Not if we make sure the whole world is watching." The next morning, on the federal courthouse steps in downtown LA, Tara and Victor held an emergency press conference. Thousands watched live. Helicopters hovered. Reporters crowded. Victor stepped forward. "We were warned to stop," threatened. They went after our daughter again. So now we're pulling back the curtain, and we're not alone. Tara held up a flash drive. On here, 49 leaked internal memos, 12 sealed personnel files, over 31,000 verified testimonies. All buried, all protected until now. Gasps, phones lit up, reporters shouted. A screen rolled out beside them, playing the drone footage of the man by Zara's school. The image froze, zoomed, AI enhancement revealing a retired high-ranking sergeant, relocated after misconduct complaints. The crowd erupted. That day, the U.S. Department of Justice announced a federal investigation into coordinated suppression efforts across 3 states. But the moment wasn't over. Zara stepped forward, holding the mic in both hands. My name is Zara Finch. I'm 10 years old. A man broke my arm and tried to make me feel like I didn't belong. She paused. But I do. And so does every kid who never gets listened to. She lifted another drawing. A girl with a megaphone, captioned "Her voice matters." The crowd rose to its feet. In that moment, they didn't see a little girl. They saw the spark of a new era, born in silence, rising through truth, carried by a child who dared to speak. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We truly want to know who's with us. Please subscribe. We're just a few away from 5,000 subscribers. You can be part of this movement.